unchanging positives in demonstration to us vertically and horizontally with the English alphabet. The five G, J, P, Q, and Y are the five lowercase letters that reach below the line. Every part of English is drawn for a purpose, especially in including the space areas of each letter. Capital letters are unchanging positive identity, space nature positive identity. So those are the five pillars of body, with alpha and with omega juxtaposing through it. In decipher, in decipher of Jesus Christ is a picture of him with wearing the halo, and in it he says, "I am." In it, there's an A drawn on the left, and there's a W drawn on the right. This is ancient decipher. They saved ancient English. Now, this is to show how alpha and omega. There's two ways to write omega. O stands for omega too, but this is omega as unchanging positive value. On the right with the W, and on the left with the A, which is positive is moving from right to left and left to right at the same time. So now, the seven letters above that, those are the seven letters that reach above, high, to the top of the line as lowercase letters. Lowercase letters are used to teach about temporary value nature. Now, the A is also with the invisible part around it, and that's forcing up through the B, and that causes A. Those are the letters that just stay regular, not above the line or below it, as the lowercase letters. That T after the S is invisible. That's getting pushed up by the W and into the S. So it's coming out of the S because it's getting pushed in perfectly. That's the middle longing of the value W. See that pointing straight up, and then those two ranges with the W. Those are two space nature areas. And then, because this is the bond, this is the value of the bond to matter, is the bottom part. It's value W, and it's value A. These are two polarities in juxtaposition with, but as the nature greater than the physical body of Earth. Now, G, J, P, Q spells God juxtaposes people's question why. Y is always a value. G, J, P, Q, and Y are always value. And Y is. This is the nature of, with the beginning of the Old Testament, this is to describe what's happening with diffusion. Unchanging positive is coming through temporary space nature. So the A is forcing through the body. Now the bottom is value, temporary value. The top is invisible, unchanging positive. The bottom is value. In the middle is nature, metaphysical nature. Also, only a semi positive value, but for complete positive diffusing through it. So this A is pushing through the B to make the A above it with the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the first 10 values. One's invisible. One's invisible again. And we're going to move from left to right. But it's also coming from right right to left first. That's what's being shown at the bottom. So that's alpha and the omega, the AW. And that's going up into the earth. That's with the bottom of it. Now see, look. Because the G, now the G is right below the D. Because the G hooks the energy coming left to right, it rises up as the D, elonging straight up, and it makes the body facing that way. On the side that's getting hooked to stay on that side. That's the longing. Now the J, that's the point of real possession on the top of the J. Wherever you see a period, that's a point of real possession. That means that's unchanging positive identity in juxtaposition with the temporary positive physical matter of the earth. And then, because that real point of possession is there and it's catching it, now that hooks up into the F. I didn't draw it good, but the F goes all the way up and then it hooks. There are only long lines, straight lines, long straight lines, short straight lines, or curved lines. And there's only short curved lines, or unless with the uppercase letters. So the F is raised by the point of real possession. So it moves from left to right. And it makes the high, the longing part in the H. That's an L in the H. That's a longing. L stands for longing. And see, that little H part is catching the P right above it. That closed in space nature area, it's diffusing through. And it's causing, because it's perfect with no criminal persuasions, it's causing temporary value nature. It's causing evolution. But it's causing positive value nature progressions through temporary value nature. Now Q is facing the other way. So it's causing the same longing. But now it's got a V or K instead of there's two straight lines instead of the hooked line. And they're pointing backwards because truth is a sequence nature. Unchanging positive is a sequence nature. Invisible unchanging positive is a sequence nature. So this is for correlation. Now it's coming left to right. And victory is supposed to read that. V stands for victory. That's a little V on the K, on the longing. That's a lowercase, so it's only inherent to lowercase letters is unchanging positive's identity, space nature's positive identity. And then L, that's a longing. See the Y below it? That space nature area is it's not closed in, so it's a straight up longing. And then the T is as the two polarities of the middle is metaphysics, consciousness. In juxtaposition with our bodies. See, B stands for body. And now this is caused by the value A in juxtaposition next to the earth. Two polarities. In other words, because the earth has no criminal possessions, Y, G, J, P, Q, and Y, they're always value. God juxtaposes people's question why. Y is always value to consciousness. So, then, you see the W is pointing up right to that T. That's for a purpose. And see the middle of the W is pointing right up to the S. And that's that's a range of the T is getting pushed to become of progressive value now. but the progressive value is left to right and it's invisible. So why I put the little thing there. That's a plus sign, but it's really a T, but it's an invisible T. It's inherent to the T. It's invisible. So that letter doesn't belong there because the top line is all temporary value nature. I mean, all the letters that don't come above or below the line. And then the last 5 letters, that's the pillars of positive nature itself. Now the top spells alpha consciousness is energy, identifies mother's neutral omega, raising C. And then this is the value of us as now in relationship to unchanging space nature positive. You is you. This is this is how to evaluate. This is ancient sciences all at once. I'm just doing a summary right here. So then it's you, victory. Now the ancients, to know real changing positive, that's real victory. So you have to define real victory. You have to use correlation. And then the ancients probably called real victory with a Y. It's a question. And once you realize what real victory is Victoria. And then W, that's a lowercase w. But still, see that part pointing up. That's perfect positive value. That's value A. Invisible. The invisible part in the capital W, unchanging positive, is the capital letters. And then X stands for extinction. You put the E in front of X. That's the only letter you do that for, because that's where we die. And our value was released through our wall, the walls of our body, and the walls of our home. They're in communications with us. They're in communication with us in relationship to how the nature of existence works. This is why all bodies of consciousness have bodies. And then the Z, the top of the Z, this is for correlation, horizontally and vertically. The top of the Z, now in the uppercase letters, unchanging positive. The top of the Z points back towards A, because if that's the value, the nature of the value that's had, when it reaches that point, the identity, the value nature of the individual, once they get to extinction. Now, Y is not in there because, again, Y is in the bottom, but it's still an invisible value there. You see, that's why I wrote the T in there, even that's one of the letters that was above, because it's a different form of plus. So this is how the ancients teach about the fusion. This is why Jesus says, I am the Alpha and I am the Omega. This is cipher because human education was criminally re-engineered. Your victory wall extinguishes Zenith and or Zulu. And or Zoo. When we are positive value nature, when our identities are positive value nature, that's the Zenith. When it is negative value nature, that's the Zoo. And beyond that is correlation to invisible, unchanging positive, which is Allah. We covered this in another video. The middle line reads, body diffuses freedoms, high, kindness, longing, tell. There's different natures of consciousness, of kindness. Body diffuses freedom. Freedom's high, kindness, longing, tell. See, the word high was taken over with the criminal re-engineering of human education. They made it like a drug thing, because they set up English to remain perpetually obfuscated in relationship to how it's designed to teach other sciences in the law. So they can't speak honestly with the natures of nations that were engineered per criminal re-engineering of ancient revelations. The bottom again spells God juxtaposes people's question why. Alpha God juxtaposes people's question why. Wall. And the why wall is in relationship. The body is a nature of correlation one time simultaneously, while the nature of consciousness is a correlation nature another way. The body is only semi-positive. Only inherent to the body is unchanging positive. In the metaphysical body, consciousness in the middle, that's only semi-positive too. Only inherent to consciousness is unchanging positive value. And what causes it with no criminal persuasions being shown here? And like in the beginning of the Old Testament, when God's looking down and says, he's juxtaposing things with the firmament and with the well, we'll come back to this, but this is what this diffusion. So that range with the W is to show how the T is being pushed into the value of the S by what's forcing positive value nature to diffuse through Earth. And that T is not supposed to be there again. It's on the second row. So then the last 5 letters, that's the body, that's the pillars in relationship to positive. So there's 3 natures of value. There's the nature of value as space nature's positive identity. There's the nature of value on the bottom, which is juxtaposed with physics as the bond to matter, and as a quality of diffusion. That's positive here when there's no criminal persuasions. When Y is always a value. And then, so this is it. This to show this, and then the middle part of the W is pointing straight up to that Y, which is the 1 letter that comes over. See, each one goes a 1 letter over, and that's for a reason. Again, I wrote that T in just to show you because these ancient sciences they're going to teach it like that. Plus, in other words, we see the energy, and now we're supposed to correlate vertically and horizontally. See, the Z is for horizontal. Then we're going to go into the uppercase letters to show about the nature of unchanging positive. But this is, humans are the lowercase letters. We're temporary value nature. Unchanging positive is forever value nature. And, this is the value of a physical body is the same as down here, but it's judged in relationship to if we're the value of A and W too with it. If we're not the value all ways, all 7 ways, then we're not positive value, because unchanging positive's complete nature is unchanging. So when G, J, P, Q, and Y, when they are unchanging, because they are unchanging positive value, that causes positive value nature progressions. That causes evolution. So, and this is how the ancients probably revealed English, with these words too. First they revealed these words, and they revealed patterns with them, because unchanging space nature positive identity, just like it knows about all the parts of our bodies, even all of them together, to have us as one species. We're a correlation nature. We all share one thing in demonstration to us. One positive in demonstration of itself as the only positive identity. So space nature is diffusing through immediate space nature Earth. And this is used to teach about this. I erased the A with my finger there. Now let me show you one thing too. Juxtaposed with these letters, like A is the first letter. Juxtaposed with A is invisible 1. Juxtaposed with B is invisible 2. See how B cups the top of the imagine a 2 there. Well, I'll write it in. But 2, 2 is cupping unchanging value coming from left to right. And because it cups it, it forces positive value nature progression to cause the body longing on the bottom. And then a full high longing with B. Facing left to right, the little hook. And the space nature in the B, that's invisible, so we can see that we are correlation, so we can see the invisible. Now we can see it. And now that causes D, which is caused by the G below it. Which is a quality of the fusion. And that causes F. When it's here, and it pushes it, the F is curved, pushing it back down. So now it goes another longing, the left side of the H. But what was pushed down gets cupped up now. Now it's forced to long. It's forced to get high. And to long that. And now, because it was cupped down and was forced as progressive value, now it made another longing. But now this longing is opened up. So the longing is moving. It's always going to move from left to right. It diffuses right through matter. But this is showing what holds it to evolution here. Like when G, J, P, Q, and Y, because they are unchanging positive nature, the rest of positive nature, A and W, connect with it, and that's another nature of that's another nature of might. In other words, there's 2 natures of might. Not usually 3 natures. The one beyond us. There's power and might we have control over. But in other words, that's what forces evolution. When when we're inside that nature that stays beyond us, over our heads, below our feet, and peripherally, horizontally. So that's why it works out like that, not just by accident, where it goes 5, 7 with one longer on each side, and then 10, 9, and with the 10 you draw in the plus. Now this is algebraic consciousness, probably what the ancients called this. And then U, V, W, X, Z. Again, that's the 5 pillars of unchanging positive. So there's the 5 pillars of the body. There's the 7 pillars of the body of metaphysics, which is consciousness. And then